What's going on, world? How you guys doing? This is Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur, coming at you again. I'm here with my guy Archie Nettles. Archie, how you doing?
It's a pleasure
how you
to
doing?
meet you,
Thank you so
sir.
much. So as you guys know, I love to bring you interviews with entrepreneurs who built the business on a part-time basis and who are killing it right now. So Archie, thanks for coming out.
And thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
So for you guys know, this is our first time really meeting today, so I'm super excited. These are always the best interviews because I don't know a whole lot about you just yet. So we're gonna become friends really quickly.
Okay.
So Archie, as you know, the demographic that is like watching us right now, they are anywhere between 18 and call it like 35, right? They've always wanted to run their own business. They currently have a full-time job, want some more income, not looking to go get it by getting a part-time job, but maybe
Right.
building a part-time business, right? And what I've learned about those group of people, mostly like millennials, is we're like the show me. So like, why should I listen to you almost? So can you tell them just a little bit about your credentials?
Okay, so my name is Archie Nettles, and I'm the founder and CEO of A.D. Nettles LLC, which is an empowerment speaking company. I focus in the areas of financial literacy, professional development, and I also do public speaking. So in that vein, I am able to reach actually youth in areas of specifically college admissions, as well as young professionals between the ages of 21 and 40. And what I look to do, and I work with these individuals, is to help them and empower them from a capacity of if they having challenges, specifically to public speaking. I host a lot of those types of workshops to help them overcome their public speaking skills in my space.
So would you say your passion is in more so like helping people, or is it more public speaking? Or
I would say it's a hybrid to play off your topic. But so it's public speaking, but also empowering others. I have what I call the 3E philosophy, which is educate, equip, and empower. Educate you about the specific topic or the let's say for speaking, I educate you on public speaking, the different strategies and skill sets. Then I want to equip you with the knowledge to overcome maybe some of the challenges that some individuals who want to become public speakers may face. So that may be like creating a speech or finding your story. I was just talking to a young lady and she was just like, well, how do I find my platform? And I was like, well, you start from where you are and you leverage all your past experiences to create your own platform. And then from that, I talk about empowerment, not just taking the information and sitting on it because, so let's just say I think about motivation. Motivation tends to be temporary, right? Well, I like to say, I don't want to just motivate you, I want to empower you to take the knowledge that I've shared with you and to take action. Exactly. So through that, I've been afforded the opportunity to travel over the state as well as the nation, speaking to various groups, nonprofit organizations, as well as professional organizations as well.
Okay, so what is the largest group you've ever spoken to?
I would say about 500. It was actually at it was 2 summers ago. It was at a United Negro College Fund Scholarship Gala. And I was invited to speak, and it was actually in my hometown, so it was almost like a full circle.
Where are you from again?
I'm from Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont, Texas.
So I was able to go back home and...
It's country out there, huh?
I don't think it's country, man. We got trees and we got a Walmart and 2 stoplights.
As long as there's a Walmart there, it can't be country, right?
Right. So I would say about 500. And so through that, I built my business literally off word of mouth.
Okay, and you started your business back in 2014,
Yes,
right?
I started in 2014.
So I'm assuming social media was a big part of that?
Absolutely.
The word of mouth? Okay.
It's interesting. We're talking to a group of between 18, 25, all the way up to 35. We're in a time now where it's an environment that's, I'm trying to put a specific word, but it's a great environment to start a business because the barriers of entry have been removed. You can literally start from scratch. I started with a flyer, and because someone saw me speaking at an event, they asked me what I did. Now at that time, I didn't even have nothing really crafted, but what I did, I leveraged previous experiences, and I told her that I was public speaking and I speak to youth. And she was like, man, I wish I would have known that I would have invited you out. That night, it was over a weekend, I said, man, I need to get a flyer out. And I created this flyer. And with this flyer, just talked about my 3E philosophy. I used I repurposed some pictures. And when I eventually put the flyer out, which was in April, the very same year, I was invited to speak in Forest City, Arkansas, Forest City, Arkansas, small little town I ain't never heard of.
I assume so.
But I posted it on Facebook, and it was a friend who saw my flyer. She shared it, and then someone reached out to her.
Wow.
And then they.
How much did that flyer cost you to make? Or did you make it yourself?
Man, I asked a friend. Leverage your resources. It don't take much. Leverage your resources.
Yes.
I would say no. He did it for me for free.
He did it for free. So
Yes.
you posted a free. So someone saw you speaking. They said, "Hey, I like you, and I wish I had known." So then you immediately went and took action. You had a flyer for free. Someone saw the flyer, and that put you in front of another group of people. How big of a group was that?
So that was about that was a light group, and it was a nonprofit group. So I would say about 50 to 100.
50 to 100 people
And
for
with-
free.
for
It cost
free.
you nothing.
And
Just
right.
hustle.
Just hustle. And I was invited out, and that's when the reason I started to know my value then was they paid me $1,000, and I didn't have no, I didn't have no credentials at the time.
Yeah.
It was then that I said, okay, I need to start using my past experiences. So what I did was built my speaking resume off of previous times that I've been asked to speak. When I talk about use what you have, I use those past experiences to build my portfolio.
So before we get into that, let's talk about you in corporate, right? Like before you started the business and everything, you don't have to say the specific company, but what were you doing?
I was in higher education.
You were in higher education.
Right.
Okay.
And in my role, I was able to be before a lot of youth. And I was basically in recruiting. And what that afforded me was I was using my full-time job as a leverage to, because I knew I wanted to be public speaking.
Okay.
So when I would post events,
Yes.
I wouldn't post necessarily who I was representing.
Yeah.
I was just posting pictures of where I was.
Love it.
I was
Love
posting because I was like, well, I'm starting from scratch. When you start from scratch, people, you've already alluded to it. Why would they want to listen to me? Well, I knew people like big audiences, and so when I was afforded those, I just leveraged those, put the pictures on my flyer, and I started to do that. And over the course of time, I've built a fairly decent following, and I'm just getting started, even though I've been doing it for some time.
I like it. So what I like to do is point out things, because I think there's so much information out there, right? The people get information overload. I like to, during these interviews, stop and point out specific things. So something you said, I remember, was in Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was one of it was the actual very first business book I was ever told to read by a mentor. It took me 3 years, but I actually ended up reading it. And what he said in that book was that, poor people work to earn, wealthy work to learn. Like they work to go get some kind of a skill set. They get paid as they learn this skill set, and like you said, they leverage that to end up creating a business or creating some other income. So you were in corporate, higher education, recruiting, speaking, and then, as you said, so let's talk about the white hot moment or whatnot, right? So what I talked about earlier. Typically, what I've learned is that there's always a key situation or a turning point. Something happens, and someone's like, you know what? I'm so frustrated. I'm tired of this. I've got to start something. I've got to do something. Or maybe it comes from inspiration. I'm so inspired. I want to do this, and I need to take action now. Was there any moment like that?
Well, I keep going back to that flyer because at the time, I knew I wanted to be seen as a speaker because for a long time, I would tell people that I'm a public speaker, and it was almost like people didn't take me seriously. And so what I began to realize was, if I didn't believe in myself at the time, then how can I expect someone to believe in me? And so what I, through my experiences where I was working at currently, it allowed me to build my platform as well as build my skill set. So I would say the defining moment was, again, when that young lady asked, she messaged me, she DM'd me, and she was just like, Archie, what is it that you do? And at that time, I didn't have a flyer.
Yes.
I didn't have anything, but I told her, you know what? I'm a speaker. And it was at that moment that I worked over the weekend. I met with a buddy of mine, and we crafted my flyer. And I told her, I think I was given maybe a week or so, and I sent her that. And what's interesting is she didn't use me then, but eventually we came back and did business, and she invited me out to work with her and partner on an event.
So that was the event that kind of sparked everything.
Yes,
right?
that sparked everything. Because then I formed my LLC not too long after that, and it was honestly, I would say that was my aha moment.
Okay.
And because I had seen so many other people doing it, and I was doing it, I was just getting paid, and I didn't have no infrastructure, if you will, because I think at the time you don't know what you don't know. But again, I started to pull everything together, and that's what I continuously keep mentioning is use. So you can start where you are. You don't need much to get started. It depends, but everything is online. But if you want to build an online business, I have friends that literally have started from scratch building online businesses because they were passionate about it. You spoke earlier in terms of not having time. Well, we make time for the things that we truly want to do, or not having the capital. I've seen many people start with nothing. You can go on Fiverr and literally get a $25 or a $10 flyer, and they do pretty good work. Now, it could be hit and miss or whatever, but then I also leaned on my network. See, I believe in the lack of the money, having people capital. As I'm sure you probably heard, your network is your net worth. And I was able to leverage my network of friends and family who were able to help me along the way as well in terms of getting referrals. And what's interesting, when that event I did, the mayor came back to me toward the end of the event, and he says, well, he thanked me. Actually, no, it was one of the gentlemen that I was working with during the event. And he says, you know what? The mayor was so impacted by my speech at the time that he wrote a check to the organization. And pretty much they were compensated for the money that they had paid me.
Wow. So did they ever invite you back? That organization?
No, because I don't know what happened since then, but that was a pivot for them during that time. They went with an older individual, but the gentleman that I was working with, he ended up moving out of the state.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So but we still keep in touch.
I mean, I would hire you. I mean, we get you to speak, and you do such a good job that this guy writes us a check. Oh yeah. Right. I mean, you bring them money. I love that. Right. I love that. So I wanted to ask now, what were some of the, because a lot of times, especially with the millennial generation, right? We see people posting pictures of these cars. It's a lot of attraction marketing, right? And they think that you start off as an entrepreneur living that lifestyle up front. And I'm sure me and you know both, that's not true, right?
No.
So what are some struggles, maybe some things that you had to overcome, maybe some habits, maybe some circumstances that you had to overcome in the very beginning of starting your business?
Well, like I said, it goes back to confidence and in terms of feeling, it's kind of like the imposter syndrome.
I was literally going to ask about that,
Feeling that you are not living up to that, or in terms of how people may perceive you or how you should be in a certain space. And so basically overcoming self. See, we are our own worst critics.
Yes.
But I find that when you're able to step away and really on the outside looking in, then you find out that, man, we all have our own challenges and struggles, but Facebook and all the social media, we're going to put our best selves. But I'm sure them same folks who putting all that out there at night, not saying that they're crying or whatever, but they have their own, everybody has their challenges. I was thinking, we all have there's one commonality in terms of, it don't matter like what color, creed you are, but I think struggle, to a certain degree. It may not always be with money, but somewhere in some form or fashion in life, you will encounter a struggle.
Absolutely.
And so for me, in terms of the struggle, I had to overcome self. And
a lot of times they say that's the hardest part, is getting out of your own way.
Right, because we will analysis paralysis, right? We will think about everything or how something won't work and won't think of how it will actually work.
Absolutely.
When you told me that you just moved here and you wanted to start networking in the space, well, I'm sure you heard many reasons why not to do it. But I'm reminded of a friend of mine. He always asks me random questions because he knows I just like random knowledge. So he says, how many people are in the world? I say 7.5 billion. He said, how many are in America? I say about 330 million. Metroplex. And we get down all the way up to the, and he says, there's a market. You just got to find it. Some will, some won't, so what?
Next.
Right? And so it's a matter of finding those individuals who will resonate with you. So the opportunities are out there. You just literally got to go out there and get it, because nobody going to give it to you.
I like it. So I appreciated your time here, man. Two things left, right? I want to know, so we've got a younger millennial audience checking out our interview right now, right? I want you, as we're wrapping up, looking at camera, tell them maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that you think someone needs. Hey, I'm working a full-time career right now. I'm interested in starting a business. I don't know how. Somehow I have some kind of limiting beliefs, or I'm a lack of resourcefulness or whatnot. Maybe 1 or 2 tips that you can share with them that maybe will have really helped you in the very beginning of your career.
Okay. So I would say surround yourself around like-minded individuals, simply because they will carry you during those challenging times. We also live in a time where if you want to learn anything, all you got to do is Google it. You can pull out your phone now, and this is one of the most powerful tools that we have, the cell phone, which is basically a mini computer. So I would say do some research if you want to learn about entrepreneurship. Also, informational interviews. If you have someone that you admire who's an entrepreneur, reach out to him or her and ask them if they'd be interested in sharing knowledge, simply because everyone loves to talk about themselves. So I would say surround yourself around like-minded individuals to carry yourself through those challenges, as well as research, Googling. I can't stress it enough. And literally jump. You don't always have to have a parachute. It's good to have a parachute, but you never know how far you can fly. But standing on the ledge, man, it's time to jump. So I challenge you all to get outside of yourself and jump.
I like it. I feel like Steve Harvey stole that jump reference from you, because you did it a lot better than he did. I like it. So Archie, lastly, where can they reach you at? If they want to get contacted, because let's say they want to be coachable, right? And I would suggest that you guys take the action steps immediately. They want to reach you. How can they contact you?
Thank you. So I have a website, it's www.archienettles.com, and my email address is contact@archienettles.com. That's Nettles.
Awesome. I love it. Archie, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
So again, this is Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur, here again with another successful entrepreneur who's taught you how to go, from amateur, or from thinking you want to run your own business to actually taking the action steps to do it. Again, Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur. Until next time, signing out.